So, what did you think about our kayak trip yesterday?
Well, I like the fact that we started in the afternoon. We started about, what, around 4 o'clock? And it was a nice time, wasn't too hot. But going upriver, because the river is up from what it normally is, took a little bit of paddling, especially when we got into the really swift areas where the current was strong.
Yeah, well, you know, we were talking to the guy that does maintenance here at the park. He and his wife are campground hosts here, and he said that once you get past the bridge, it's not quite as difficult to paddle because the current's not as strong once you get beyond the bridge.
Yeah, it took us about, what, 15 or 20 minutes to paddle upriver, and then like 5 minutes back
right.
to the bridge. And it wasn't very, there's squirrels running across. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to have a conversation here. Okay.
That's all right. Well, you know, the trail that we went down today did go all the way to the bridge.
Yes, it did.
And it was a nice wide trail. So what do you think of the idea we could carry the kayak to the bridge on that trail?
Yeah, that would be a great idea. And it's the kayak is lightweight, so it really wouldn't be too much walking and carrying heavy.
So I say maybe about 1:30.
Yep.
We'll do that, and that way we have plenty of time. Even if we paddled up for 30 minutes or so, it won't take very long to come back down.
Start again at even if we paddled, because your phone just went binka binka binka.
The camp host was also telling me there's pretty much 3 or 4 areas that you can put in here on the Peace River. There's Zolfo, which is an all-day paddle.
Yeah, and it's about 20 miles north.
Right.
Right.
And then the next bridge down from Zolfo is Gardner, which from here, he said paddling is only about maybe a 2 hour, 2.5.
I think he said 3, maybe.
Yeah, maybe 2.5 or 3 hour trail.
Yeah.
And then from here to Arcadia, I think that's where he said was a good 3 hour paddle.
Yeah.
And that's what the
3.5, I think, is actually what he said.
And that's what the canoe outpost does. They drop off the canoers and the canoes here at this county park, and then they pick them up down in Arcadia.
In Arcadia, yeah.
So, but let's try that this afternoon. About 1:30, we'll carry the kayak all the way up to the bridge and put in there.
Yep, and of course we'll film every bit of it.
That's right. As we're going against the flow, and then going with the flow.
You know, sometimes when you make plans to do things, it doesn't always pan out the way you think they will. And this afternoon we were telling our friends about our plans about walking the kayak up to the bridge and then paddling down. Well, they said, well, we could just put you in our truck and take you up there to Gardner, which is one of the outposts that you can put in on the Peace River. And it's about a 1.5, 2 hour float down. So we decided to take them up on their offer.
So yeah, we just loaded the kayak up on the back of my truck, came up to Gardner. It took all of about 10 minutes, even with a weird direction that the navigator took me. And then we're on the river in about 15 minutes, and after about an hour and a half or 2, we'll be back at the campsite, especially with the way the river's flowing now.
Well, like I said, let me just show you a little bit of the bank of the river.
I love the way the trees just grow straight out of the bank up here on the right. They almost grow out horizontally.
But actually what we're seeing now is a limestone outcropping. It's not just dirt, so it's really cool. I'm gonna go up and feel of it. That is, you have the soil and the roots, and then you got the limestone. Look at that, there's an up close picture of it. It's really neat. Really is limestone. It goes all the way down.
That's clay mixed with limestone.
Okay, so I just noticed this little area right here where the limestone's sticking out. And I don't know if you can see it real well. If you get a little bit closer, there's actually water dripping down into the river. And a lot of times you'll see this in the mountainous areas, some water dripping down from above, but this is really the first time I've seen it up close from the river, so it's pretty neat.
That's kind of a good visual of what the aquifer does underground. I guess really that's kind of what that is. That's the aquifer.
Yeah, look at it behind. Look at that root system.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming up from those trees. Oh, sun, sorry. Coming up from those trees. That's pretty cool. It's really some neat things you see along this river. Here's more of that limestone outcropping on the river. It's just really pretty. Okay, so we've seen our first gator. Well, not first gator, gator in the wild. He's right straight ahead of us. Just sitting there resting on those banks. On that bank. Wish I could zoom in, you could see him better. Occasionally when you're kayaking down this Peace River, you'll see places like that are a little sandy beach area. And that particular one had a place where somebody built a campfire on. So the banks of the Peace River isn't all just trees and rock outcroppings. There are little sandy beaches along the way, and you'd still got to be careful of the wildlife around.
Left, really left, about left.
Oh my.
And that's why you have to be careful where you decide to find a place to stop, because that's about an 8.5, maybe a 10-foot alligator right there. If you can see it very well, that's a pretty big boy.
Yep.
And he's looking at us, he's saying, who are you and why are you disturbing my rest? Okay, I'll lay my head back down.
So yeah, you do have to be careful of the wildlife around here and not disturb them, and they won't disturb you. So we came around the bend in the river and we saw this, and this is pretty amazing. It's a very beautiful sandy white beach, and it looks like a lot of people have stopped here and gotten out and enjoyed a swim in the river. Are you game for that, honey?
Sure.
All right, so let's just stop and have a little swim, shall we?
We shall.
All right, so Paul's up there. What do we got?
Just a couple people have had fires here. And there's fire pit, there's fire pit, there's fire pit. This looks like a pretty popular spot to stop.
And it's so beautiful up here. Beautiful white sandy beach. Very nice. Ooh, is there a drop off?
Not yet.
How's the water?
Cold.
Ooh. Quite chilly. Ooh.
Especially when it gets up over your waist.
A little bit, yeah. It's like spring water. I bet it's 72 degrees.
Or colder. I'm not sure I want to jump in. but it's refreshing.
It is refreshing. All right, so we're gonna see if we can swim a little bit. You wanna go?
Or if we're checking out.
If you go, I'll go. There he goes. Is it? Oh, going against the current.
It is pretty swift.
Yeah. Okay, I guess it's my turn.
All right, your turn. You said if I went, you'd go, so.
Okay, hold this. All right, I need to get my arms to it. 1, 2, 3. Oh, wait. I can't reach it. Oh, gosh. Oh, it is quite refreshing. I think I'm done.
It is. There you go.
That was fun. Okay, right up ahead of us is a great herring, great blue herring. He's just standing there. And I'm hoping to get him in flight. We shall see. I bet he will fly because we're getting too close to him. Oh, there he goes. There he goes. There he goes.
Did you put it on video?
Okay, so tell me again what you found out on your phone. What have you been doing with your phone?
Well, you know how you can go to Google Maps while you're trying to find someplace on the road? Well, Google Maps will also pinpoint you where you are on the river. And so that's what I've been doing every once in a while, just checking to see our progress. And the last double bend that we came around, I thought was about the halfway point, but it turns out from looking at the map, it was more like the 3/4 of the way point. So we've just got about 3 more bends and we'll be able to see the bridge, and once we hit the bridge, it's like 5 minutes back to the campground.
Because that's the area where the water gets really swift.
Right.
So as we experienced yesterday.
Right, once we hit the bridge, it's going to speed up a little bit, so it won't take us long to get back. So with the water like it is today, even stopping for a brief swim, it looks like we had about an 1.5-hour trip.
Yep, and that's about right. We started at about 2:40. I checked the time a few minutes ago, and it was 3:50. So it's going to be about an 1.5 hours. Okay, the water in this area is choppy. We're almost up to the bridge where we were yesterday, and we were told that this area is very rocky on the bottom, and you can see by the way the water is a little bit choppy. That's the water running the bridge, but it's still pretty deep. Got anything else to say?
Except you're not supposed to raise your paddle up like that and let water run down under your arm, into your armpit.
Okay, well there's the bridge, and once we pass the bridge, it's only going to take about 5 minutes to go to the campground because the water in this area is real swift. Yesterday, we thought that the driftwood underneath the pilings was really neat.
We're gonna say,
we're Go With The Flow couple, and we're gonna say, bye y'all.